Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and this is set number 60439, Space Science Lab from the LEGO City theme. This set contains 560 pieces, 2 minifigures and 1 smaller figure, and it will retail for $34.99 in the US. This set is not officially released until April 1st, 2024, but it was gifted to me early for review by the LEGO Group through the LEGO Ambassador Network, but all opinions expressed in this video are my own. So I actually want to start this review out by talking about the price. And the price is something I normally wait till the end of my review for, but it's actually very important to talk about in this case, because I don't know how this happened. The price on this is actually incredible. 560 pieces for $34 in the US. What happened there? I'm not complaining, don't get me wrong, I love that, that's a fantastic price. But over the past few years, LEGO prices have been getting higher and higher and higher, and LEGO City especially has been ridiculous, so I have no idea how this came out for so cheap, but I am not complaining by any means. And it's not even like, oh, it's a high piece count because there's a bunch of small pieces in the set. Like, yeah, there's a few small pieces, but there's also huge pieces like these, and normally things like that would drive up the price. And minifigure selection's pretty standard for a $35 set too. So yeah, no idea how this is so cheap, but I'm very happy it is. So let's take a look at what's actually included in the set. The build is, of course, this little space lab, and it's fully enclosed to, I guess, have its own atmosphere in here. Each side is slightly different. This is the main door to get in. This is a little hatch that can actually connect to some of the bigger sets of the wave. Unfortunately, I don't have any of them to show you, but if you have like the bigger space station set that came out earlier this year, that can actually clip in right there, which is awesome. I love modularity like that between different sets. Like, this connects, but it doesn't feel incomplete without it. That's always amazing to see. This side, we've just got some trans black window pieces, and this side's a little vehicle depot. I guess we can actually take a look at that real quickly. That's very easily removable too. And once again, this is another place where it can connect to the previous sets, and this section can connect to those sets too. So if you want to move this to be coming off of one of those sets instead, that's an option you have. But yeah, this is a little charging station with a little flyer, and this is actually really cool. So we got those battery pieces that come in like pretty much all the LEGO City space sets, these sparkly trans-purple pieces which are great, and then here's the actual flyer. We have a stickered Classic Space logo, a printed console piece right here for them to actually control the flyer, and these jetpacks that like thrust it forward. But you can see you actually stand on it with a jumper piece. There's not like a proper place for a minifigure to sit. And that's because one of the minifigures in this set is actually in a wheelchair, so this flyer is meant to work with the wheelchair. The wheelchair plops on there just like this, and you use the wheelchair as a seat to actually fly this thing around. Then when you're done, you can just dock it back in here so it can charge. I think that's genuinely great for play. I love that a lot. So of course you can put that wherever you want in your space station, but if you only have this set, you plug it in right here, and it fits in absolutely perfectly. But now, before we move inside real quickly, let's take a look at this dome on the top. This uses 4 different trans black pieces, and that is trans black, not trans dark brown. That's the new color that was introduced last year, I believe. So there's not a ton of parts in this color, so it's great to get. I will say, because these are big transparent pieces, they have the issue that so many parts have nowadays, where they just get really beat up in the packaging. So you can see these came out of the box super scratched. Not sure how well that shows up on camera, but it's like not a huge deal, but it is disappointing to see. It's a quality control issue that LEGO just hasn't fixed, and that is a shame. But anyway, we come back around to the front entrance, and we have another battery pack right here. This is what I assume is powering the actual station in here. And then you can see there's a pretty Classic Space logo, which comes in tons of the sets. I'm saying Classic Space. It's Classic Space inspired. It's not the exact Classic Space logo because the colors are different, but it is pretty much a Classic Space logo. And then we have a printed keypad piece right here, which I assume is to enter a code to open this door. So when a character does that, you can lift this up, and that gives you access into the interior. I will say there is no stop on the door, so you can pull it up and all the way out. Something to be aware of, but not the biggest deal, and very easy to slot back in. But yeah, that opens up to let minifigures in and out. However, if you, as a person, want to get into this build, well, it can actually fold open just like this. And there's a full look of the interior. Unsurprisingly, there's 4 different sections, 1 for each wall. So let's start on the left side. Not too much going on. You have some clips to hold some accessories if you want. And there's 2 stickered screen pieces. One seems to be monitoring the health of this plant. That's in the center of the build. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And the other is maybe some sort of communications device. It's showing one person sending a signal to another person. Those do a good job adding life to the build. Then the next section is the one with the door that opens up to connect to other sets. And that has this tree that's in the center extending out from it. This tree is probably my favorite part of this build. It's like this really wacky sci-fi tree, but I adore it. It's got this trans-purple crystal piece in the center, and that comes in a ton of the LEGO City space sets. That's sort of like the collectible of this wave. It's what makes their power sources, like those batteries that you saw. And LEGO City doesn't exactly have a story, but there is an implied story. And it seems like the astronauts are trying to collect these crystals. So maybe the crystal is grown by the tree, or the crystal's what is growing the tree? I don't know, that's up to your imagination. But you can see the tree itself uses more trans-purple pieces, just like the color of that crystal. And those are amazing parts to get. It's rare that we get just regular bricks in transparent colors. Normally transparent pieces are either very small like these, or huge windshield pieces like the roof. So while we do get pieces like this every now and then, it is quite rare. And I think this transpurple is all new for this set, so that's amazing to see. I think it looks great here. It makes the tree feel like it's full of life, but in a very alien way. Purple's not a color we see in trees on Earth, at least not often, so I love seeing that here. There's also a little bit of trans pink. There's a 1x1 brick right here, as well as like these pointed crystal pieces. Got a few purple leaves all throughout, and then there's like these tentacle branches that hang down, and they've got these crown pieces on them and these frogs coming off, which is super funny but also adorable. LEGO loves including frog pieces in sets, and I think for an alien tree they are perfect to be like the little flowers. I love that so much. And then finally at the top there's a white disc piece, and that's just what seals off the entire thing when you have it closed up. This tree is easily the coolest part of this set. Then the next section we have like the living quarters. There's a cabinet or fridge or something right here, you could store stuff in there, and it's got a classic like a coffee mug on top in white. This is of course a bed for a minifigure to lay down. Unfortunately there is only one bed in this set despite there being 2 full minifigures in the set. Would have been nice to get 2, but it's a small set, that would have increased the size. I don't mind so much that there's only one. There's how it looks to have a minifigure lay down in there. And they've actually got a little TV screen above their bed and they're watching someone play soccer. This again adds to the LEGO City world building. You can see there's like that mountain logo in the corner. That's used in like all the LEGO City sports figures. It's just like a generic brand that's used for sports clothing. So it seems like they are sponsoring whatever the soccer tournament is. And you can see the score is 3-1. Then next to the bed we have a tiny little shower. Not too complex of a build, but there's a nozzle hanging down the top right here and a handle at the bottom to turn it off and on. And then this final section is behind where the flyer connects, and this seems to be like the actual lab. There's another one of those batteries right here, and it seems like diagnostics are being run on the battery, and this is a tiny little microscope to, I guess, inspect the crystal. And then, yeah, this is another screen showing, like, the makeup of the crystal. And that's about it for this main build. It folds up real easily. You do have to sometimes push these window pieces under that disc, but it's not too difficult to do. And yeah, it closes up to turn into this great display piece. So genuinely, all around, this is an amazing build. If it was like $50 or something, I might be a little more critical, but for $35, absolutely, this is great. But of course, that's not everything in this set, so now let's take a look at the minifigures. Here are the 2 full minifigures in this set. We have 2 astronauts, and these astronauts are pretty common throughout all the different LEGO City space sets of this year. They have this really cool spacesuit design, and then they each have their own different colors. So in the case of this set, we have a green astronaut and a dark blue astronaut. Now the green astronaut is actually in a wheelchair, and I believe this is the first set to come with this character. I could be wrong, I don't have all the January sets, but I don't remember seeing this one before. I think there is other green characters, but not the one specifically in a wheelchair. But it's great to get the wheelchair in this set. It's not the most common part in the world, but obviously it's a very important part to exist. And this is the more modern wheelchair piece that was introduced with the LEGO Avatar line. However, it's in gray, which was used for Cyrus Borg in Ninjago City last year. So yeah, awesome to get it in another set. And it's cool to see in space of all things. I really like that that's here. Other than that though, the 2 figures share the exact same leg piece, so I'm not going to take this minifigure out of the wheelchair even though you can, because you can already see the full detail of the legs right here. But I absolutely adore the design of these spacesuits. I did reviews earlier this year on some of the sets, though I think I only published one of them. But in short, I think these designs are fantastic. They're the perfect mixture of like sci-fi while also being somewhat realistic. They're clearly inspired by real-life spacesuits, but the gold detailing and everything is very sci-fi-esque, as well as like the bright colors that they use. I like the classic space logo that they have in the corners, and you can see the dark blue astronaut has like a little jetpack around the back. Her helmet, by the way, is a really cool part. We've had that helmet piece before in previous LEGO City waves, as well as Monkey Kid and collectible minifigures, but pretty much every time the main color has been white, and we've had a secondary color down here that was either like black or teal or something. This time around though, they swapped that, where white's the secondary color and then dark blue's now the main color, and it feels like an entirely different part. It doesn't even seem like the same piece. And I think that looks really, really good. The green astronaut, though, has a different space helmet, and this one has a visor attached that can actually flip up. That's a little bit funny for a space helmet, but it looks cool at the very least, so I don't mind that. And if we take the helmets off, you can see their full face prints. The face print of the green one I actually don't recognize. Obviously, it's just a generic LEGO City face, but I do believe it's new for this set. And I actually quite like it. He's got like sideburns on the sides, and a very friendly looking smile. I always like when they introduce new generic faces. This one's quite good. And then this one did come in other sets earlier this year. I do remember getting this one in a previous set, but it is absolutely awesome. She's got like, I don't know if it's meant to be a tattoo or what it is, but like this metallic printing of constellations on the one side of her face. And that looks so cool. Like it looks awesome when you reflect it in the light. But man, that's just such a cool design. And the actual expression's pretty good too. Just a very happy smile, no alternate face around the back. But yeah, I really love that one. There's a full look at the back torso print as well. This year's LEGO City Spacemen are just great. I love collecting them, and these two are both great to add to a lineup. Again, I know the dark blue one's from earlier this year, but I think the green one's new. Feel free to correct me in the comments. But regardless, you could always swap their faces out and just get extras, so I'm quite happy to get them here, and the wheelchair is an amazing part. And then the final figure in the set is not a full minifigure, it's one of the smaller figures from LEGO Dreams. I don't know if we we ever settled on a name for these figures, Minifigures, Tiny Figs, I'm not sure. But regardless, it's weird to see them in a theme that's not LEGO Dreams, and it's weird to see an alien in LEGO City, but I do really love this little guy. So you can see his little spacesuit is similar to the others, though obviously much smaller, but there's still that classic space logo right there, and no printing around the alternate side, but that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to get any printing at all. The helmet piece is the same one that the dark blue astronaut used, though in azure this time around instead, which I believe is also an all-new recolor. Really amazing to get that part. Again, I love the color scheme of this helmet in this wave. And then taking that helmet piece off there, you can see the full face print, and this is absolutely adorable. The alien just has 3 eyes and the tiniest little smile, and this is super cute. It is weird to have aliens in LEGO City, because it just doesn't feel like what LEGO City would typically do, but these guys are adorable, so I can't not love them. Great inclusion in this set, and just a fantastic design all around. And so, overall, would I recommend this set? I mean, if you don't like LEGO City Space, then no, I probably wouldn't. But if you just like general space sci-fi, and you don't care about licenses or anything, and you've like liked the previous LEGO City Space sets earlier this year, absolutely. If you're a fan of like this kind of set, this is one that I think is a must-have. Like, I think something went wrong with the price here. $35 for this is absurdly good. And it's not lacking in any department. Like, there is still big pieces in the set. There's rare pieces like the wheelchair. Nothing about this says to be like, oh, this is a $35 set. This is genuinely a fantastic deal, and the kind of deal we really don't see that often in LEGO. So yeah, if this is the kind of thing you like, absolutely I would recommend it. It looks great from the outside, fits like a sci-fi display perfectly, and the interior is good. It's obviously not the most complex thing of all time. It's a LEGO City set for $35, but even still, I like what you get. There's a good amount of interior. The sci-fi tree is very cool. I like the door that opens at the front. I like that this can connect to other sets from the previous waves. The designers did a fantastic job. I highly, highly recommend this one. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of this set in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it, subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!